This is Carrie with Canary Quilts, and I wanted to let you know that I am participating in the Stronger Together Quilt Along at Fat Quarter Shop. It is to celebrate Black History Month, and the pattern was designed by an African American, Michelle Ramsey, at Quilts Made with Love. I will have her link down below. And this is a free pattern. There is a kit available with all these colors in it. And you get the printed pattern if you order the kit. Otherwise, you can go download the pattern. And I say free, but they're asking for since it's a charity quilt along, they're asking for a donation to the United Negro College Fund of $15 per pattern. I think that means there is also a cross stitch pattern. So I think that means either for this or the cross stitch, I think. But anyway. It's not very much to give. It's a great cause. Their motto is, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste," which I remember hearing that all the time on commercials when I was a kid. And it is so true. It is a terrible thing to waste. So I think it's a great cause. I think it would be a great donation. It's a beautiful quilt. And what she's doing in this is she's highlighting 3 African Americans that she feels inspired this quilt for her. So her quilt has stars, and it's like a mountain range, and there's like she sees these as paths on the mountain range, and all of this ties into the 3 people that she chose. And on each week there's 3 people she chose, and on each week she highlights those 3 people and their contribution to history and their contribution to her putting this pattern together. So I think what I'm going to do today is just kind of show you how I picked my colors, because I didn't buy the kit. I am part of their Solid of the Month Club, and I have a lot of colors left over from last year's Fat Quarters. So I chose from there to put mine together. And I think you'll find it interesting on a couple of these what I did, how I came up with my colors. So they have yardage listed here for some of the colors, and I used Fat Quarters. So I'm going to show you how I did that. And then we'll do the stars. We'll do the stars. That's the first week. Anyway, kind of a little long-winded. Just wanted to share this with you, let you know it's out there. I'm going to be doing it. Hopefully you'll join along. Their goal is to raise $7,000, and then Fat Quarter Shop's going to match it. And when I made my donation, they were really close to it. So if you're doing this, maybe you'll push them over the edge. But if you want to do this with me, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and you'll get notified throughout February when I'm putting up my blocks, and you can see how my quilt ends up in the end. It's just going to be gorgeous. Anyway, I got all the links down below for everything that you need to know about this quilt along. And let's go down to my desk. All right, here are my fabrics laid out. The fabric list is up on the pattern, and it shows you the fabrics that you would get in the kit here, and how much there is, and what letters are going to be assigned to each fabric. You can kind of see up here though what you're looking at. So what I did was I went through my Fat Quarters, my Solid of the Month Fat Quarters, and pulled out colors that were similar. Now this blue background, there's quite a bit. They say 2 1/4 yards. So I pulled out 5 Fat Quarters. And I am going to have varying colors throughout that, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think it'll give it a little more maybe depth, or make it interesting, because a night sky isn't really all one color. I mean, especially if there's clouds, but so wait, yeah. Yep, 5 colors, and these are the colors I chose. And what I ended up doing was I stacked the 5 Fat Quarters on top of each other. I trimmed them all together so that they had square edges, and then I started over here cutting my shapes out as I needed them. And I kept track, because some of these, you know, like a lot of them have 7, but you know, one has 8, one has 4. So I couldn't like cut all of them out, but I just kind of kept track of where I was at. how many I cut at the time. And I didn't end up using all of 5 of my fat quarters, so I probably could have gotten away with 3 or 4 fat quarters, but just to be safe, I did 5. So my shapes for the background blue are gonna have varying colors in them. And I wanted to make sure, I didn't want to cut like 7 of one color of this and then 4 of one color of this. That's why I stacked them and I cut them so that I had each one of my cuts had all these colors in them. So that these colors are going to be placed throughout the sky background here. So that's how I did my blue. If you want to do the same thing, you can use scraps to try to get there, get your colors. I think the variation is going to be really pretty. It's going to be unique to me. It's going to be interesting. So, and then they have you cut the stars, and I just used some scraps from my, I think it was April. There was like a bunch of neutral color because it was diamonds, I think, or something. And so there were just like these light colors within it. So I used that. And I also used that in my support group quilt last year, if you remember that. And so I had to really struggle to try to find these long strips because I need 17 of these. Yeah, I needed 17 of these strips. And I had really cut that fabric up. So that's what I got for my strips. Now, the strips are going to end up being all these little rectangles in between. So I'm going to have those varying also. Okay, stars, scraps. That's all we need for the stars. And then I went through and I kind of chose colors that were similar. So this is going to be, these two are going to be these 3 up here. This, now they have kind of a limey color yellow. I'm going with this orange. The blue is down here. And I did the same thing with the blue over here. But I only had 2 fat quarters. That's all I needed. So I'm going to have varying colors of blue down here. This pink is over here where this little peachy color is. Here's the other pinks that go up here, sorry. These 3 pinks are right here. And then the green is down here. I just want to let you know that her inspiration was, the stars were inspired by Katherine Johnson, who was a mathematician at NASA. So that's how she came up with the stars. The mountain shape is inspired by an enslaved African American who went with Lewis and Clark to explore the West to the Pacific Ocean. And he was instrumental in that. And then the third is these paths, she calls them paths in between. And the green color also is for, his last name's Young, first name, Charles Young, sorry, Charles Young. And he was an African American in the 1800s that was one of the first to oversee our national parks. And he worked over with the sequoias. And so she wanted to honor him with the green from the trees and the paths for national parks. So that's how she came up with this design. So when you're putting it together, that's the things you can reflect on and think about these people's contributions to our history. So the first block, or the first week, is putting together these star blocks up here. So let me get ready for that. I've shown you my colors, I've shown you my cuts. All the cuts are kind of the same. There's just a few more depending on if there's a full color here. Like these 5 here are full colors, these are half. That's the only difference. Is some of these have some larger shapes in them. But let me get ready to, let's put the stars together and we can get started on week 1 of the Stronger Together Celebrating Black History Month quilt. Okay, I pulled out the pieces we need to make the stars for week 1. And here's the wonderful write-up on Katherine Johnson. What a incredible mind she had, just a mathematician that calculated trajectories for orbits around the Earth and worked with the space shuttle program. I mean, just incredible. But I just wanted to show you the sky picture they chose down here. Has several different colors in it. So her colors, the colors in the kit kind of have a speckle like stars. So it'll be interesting to see how mine turn out. So for this, to put these blocks together, we will need, I don't think I have them in order, but C, E, G, A, I, H, K, and L. And you'll need to take your K's and mark a diagonal line on the back of them because we're going to make half square triangles with these, with our E's. So that's the first thing we're going to do. I'm going to set these aside, and we will just take these over to our machine, and we're going to take a blue and a white, put them together like that. We're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam on both sides of this line. That's a 1/4 of an inch away from this line. So 2 seams 1/4 of an inch away from the line, just like half square triangles. And so in the end, we will end up with 28 of these blocks like this. So I'm going to get these sewn. We'll come back and I will start putting our star unit together. Okay, got my half square triangles done. They're all ironed towards the dark. Trim the tails off, and I kind of just mixed them up so that I can put them in piles. So we need 7 stars. We're going to need our L, which is the white center, and we've got 7 of these, so I'm just going to set that in the middle. I've already lined up my half square triangles blocks here in the direction that they need to go. So I know when I start making my piles, we can do that. We know what direction they go in. I've got to take my H's, and I'm going to need 7 in each of these corners. So I'm making a pile of 7 so I can make 7 blocks at one time. Okay, so I have my corner blues kind of mixed up in piles of 7. And then I'm just going to grab from my pile over here and start laying them down in 7s, mixing them up. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. There's my pile. So I'm going to make 7 stars, and I'm going to chain piece. So I'm going to chain piece these 3 rows right here together. And then what we're going to be doing is we're always going to be ironing towards the solid patch. So always away from our half square triangle. So we've got a basic 9 patch to put together here, and we're going to end up with opposite seams in each row here so that when we put our rows together, they'll nest nicely. So I'm going to get these first 2 blocks sewn together, come back, and then we'll be ready to put the 3rd block on. All right, there's my the left side of my star put together. The pattern states to iron towards the solid patch. That's how I remember things. So next we just add the other side to it. Again, iron towards the solid patch, and then we can put our rows together. All right, there's my 3 rows with my seams ironed towards the solid patch. Now I'm going to take the top 2 rows and put them together, nesting these seams. And then we are going to sew these. These are going to get ironed away from the center row. So that's how this is going to be put together, and it's been kind of interesting sitting here making these stars and thinking about Katherine Johnson and the fact that, you know, I got 2 of them. I have a degree in computer science, which is highly mathematical and problem solving, and I just am in awe of her mathematical ability and the fact that she was a black woman back in the 60s trying to work in this highly white, male-dominated section of our society. And she did it. I mean, she did it. It's just an awesome feat. It's an awesome testament to her nature as a person and to her intellect. So it's been interesting and fun thinking about Katherine Johnson as I'm putting together these stars. Okay, I got my stars put together and I've ironed away from the center, and I thought you'd be curious and to see how they just kind of randomly turned out. And I can turn these whichever way I want, I guess. So that's what my stars look like. So now we got to start building around the stars. And we need to take our A, which is going to go over here, and our C is going to go down here. So we will add our A to the side of our star and iron towards our A. And then we'll add the C onto the bottom and iron towards the C. So I'm going to get that done and we'll add some more borders around. And there we go, just like magic. I have A, I believe it was A. Yeah, A is added on. Now we're going to take our C and we're going to add it onto the bottom. No seams to match. And we're going to iron towards C. Okay, here's the two pieces added onto my star, and we've ironed away from the star. So now we need to put G here and I up here. And the pattern says to press open except where indicated, and this doesn't have any indication, so I'm assuming these are going to be ironed open. So I'm going to get this one put on, I'm going to get G added on, and then I'll put I on, and I'm going to iron both these up, and our star will be complete. And my night sky is looking pretty. I'll reveal them all when I get done. Alright, here are my star units done. I really like them. Let me know in the comments what you think about me mixing up my fat quarters and getting these different blocks that are going to have different colors in the night sky. I think it's going to look really cool. I am going to like it. So there you go. There is the first week of the Stronger Together quilt that celebrates Black History Month, and this week's block was inspired by Katherine Johnson, who worked for NASA as a mathematician, and it was nice to think about her life and legacy as I was doing these. So let me know if you're doing this. Let me know what colors you're using. I'd like to know, and I will see you next week when we start doing hills and valleys, horizon, mountain, and valley blocks. So this quilt's going to go together real fast and it's going to look really good. So thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!